There's a lot of misinformation about what this product is, so I'm going to tell you definitively. Again, sorry. This is Glym Super Resin Polish. It is probably the best known car care product here in the UK, and I'm not entirely sure about around the world, but it's an excellent product. People have been buying it for years, but there's some confusion about what it really is. So although it says polish, there are people claiming that it's nothing more than a glaze rather than a polish. So let's talk about the differences very quickly. A polish is a product which is a liquid product which has abrasives in it. Now these abrasives help to grind down some of your paint, the top clear coat on your paint. And they're there to remove light swirls and scratches on your paint. And there are varying grades depending on how aggressive you want it to be. Now what they'll do is they will physically remove by grinding down the area around a scratch or swirl mark to make a totally flat surface. On the other hand, glazes are nothing more than a filler. So they don't have any abrasives at all. They simply work over the top, and they have something in them, like some clays perhaps, or even some resins. Where is it? There, resin. And these resins go into the scratches and swirls, and they fill some of the defects on your car. So they don't remove it, other than perhaps having a chemical cleaner in them. They won't actually physically, mechanically do anything to your paint. It's all about going on top. So there's some confusion about this. I have heard directly from Glym, again, that this does contain abrasives and it contains wax. So this is not really a polish, it's an all-in-one. So what's an all-in-one? Well, it's everything. It's the abrasive part, it contains fillers, which are the resins in here, and it contains a wax, it contains protection. So this one product, applying it to your car, will, although the abrasives in here are very small, very minor, they're a very fine polish, it will help to remove and clean some of the paint, which will help to remove oxidation. It will help to remove some of the very finest marks on your paint. It will then leave behind a resin filler, which will flow into your scratches and swirls and help to fill them in to mask their visibility, to hide them a little bit. It's not really removing them as much. Heavier defects it can't remove, but it can fill them in. And then it contains some wax in there as well, which will give some protection. So once you've applied this, you walk away, it starts to rain, you'll find the water beading up, which is fantastic. Now, if you are a subscriber of mine, you may have noticed that I did make a video about this recently. Unfortunately, I was given the wrong information, and that's okay. People make mistakes. I spoke to someone at Glym and they told me the wrong thing, but that's okay. They contacted me, told me, this is wrong, can you fix it? I said, I'll refilm it because I'd rather that you guys get the right information. So I apologize if you're seeing the same video kind of twice. But we're going to go ahead and give this a try. I've just cleaned the doors on the car here. We're going to use one of the doors. I'm going to split it into a 50-50. We can see what kind of result we get from this. Now, as far as application goes, you can use a couple of things. You can use a foam, excuse me, a foam applicator. You can use a microfiber applicator or a microfiber cloth. And they also make these perfect polish applicators, which I'm going to use for this today because it says polish applicator. So let's give it a try. Alright, so as you can see, I've split the door into two halves here. I think I'm going to use the front half here. I'm going to polish this up. I'm not going to do the bottom half here. I'm just going to use this as an example. And we're going to look at the 50-50 afterwards. Now, as far as application goes, there's no real special way to do it, but circles is a pretty good idea. And I know some people would be saying, no, you don't want circles, you don't want to add any damage. This panel's been cleaned as best I could make it. Circles are good because it's not just about applying this. You don't want to just wipe it on. You want to work it a little bit because it does have abrasives. So you want to use those abrasives. You want to help them to pick up anything which is left on the paint, to work out any of the very fine scratches or marring that's left on your door. And also you want to make sure that it's working around so you can get the resins in there as well. And the resins will help to go in and hide those scratches. So you want to make sure that they're in there properly. So use medium pressure. It doesn't have to be super light, doesn't have to be super heavy. Medium pressure should do the job. Working in circles should do a decent application there. If you're really interested in doing something quicker, you could use a dual action polisher if you have one. I've never tried it. I've just done it by hand because it doesn't mention anything else about using anything other than by hand. It is a really easy to use product, but if speed is more important to you and you have a dual action polisher, it certainly can be used with that. So we're going to go ahead and try this. Alright, so that's the polish applied. Now the idea here is to wait, to allow this to dry to a haze. You'll know when you've applied enough because it will go on slightly creamy. Obviously it's white, but it will start to shine through. You'll start to see some of the paint behind it. It won't be quite so hazy, and that's the polish telling you there's enough on there. Move on to the next stage. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes. Doesn't really say how many minutes, just a few minutes. Allow it to dry, and don't apply to any unpainted rubber or plastic trim. Well, I did get a little bit up on the rubber trim here, so I'm just going to grab my microfiber and wipe that off. Now, that came off relatively easily, so I don't think it's a huge deal. If you get it on there, just make sure you take it off quickly. Don't allow it to dry onto any unpainted plastics or rubber, because it could stain. I'm sure it would be easy enough to clean off after with a regular cleaner, but just keep that in mind. Right, so we're just going to let this dry for a few more minutes. Okay, I think that's had enough time. Time to buff off now. Alright, let's inspect. Alright, I think you can see that. There is a definite line where you can see there's a difference right there. You can see that's the polished side and the unpolished side. You really see it in the reflection of the tree back there. You see there's a much darker reflection of the leaves in the tree, and that line runs all the way down the whole panel. So the whole panel is much glossier. Now, as for the scratch filling, I'm not entirely sure, but we can test that with the help of a torch. Alright, let's have a look here. I know it's daytime, so it's not very good, but that's the reflection there. If we can get this lined up on the lens, that would help. Right there. So that's scratching and swirling on the panel. That's the scratched up side. That's the polished side. You can see a small difference. Not huge, not massive, but there is a difference. So I think overall, as a quick, easy to apply product that took only a couple of minutes to do that door, I think that's not bad. So, time for the verdict. What do I think of Glym Super Resin Polish? I think it is a good product. It's not the kind of thing that if you're chasing perfection, that's not what this product is for. If you're looking for perfection, you're looking to really polish down your paint properly, do some paint correction, and then apply some proper coating on it. This is a quick and easy product which you can see immediate results. We saw that already. There is a definite line right there. It looks darker, it looks deeper gloss, there's more shine. Because it's darker reflection, there's better, crisper reflection on it. So it is definitely a product that will improve the look of your car. There's no doubt about that. If you're chasing perfection, it's not the product for you. Like I said, this is a very fine polish in here. This is not something for correcting your paint. That's a different situation. This is something that anybody could pick up and use and definitely see results. Do I see any downsides to it? Well, you may have seen when I opened the bottle first, it kind of crusts up around the bottle edge there. When the product is drying, it can get a bit dusty. That's the only thing. Not so noticeable on a vertical panel like this, but on something like the bonnet, in previous testing I have seen, if you overuse the product, if you put too much on there, you will see a lot of dusting from all the residue on the top that you're going to be buffing off. So try not to go too overboard. I perhaps maybe used a little bit too much on there. Not by a massive amount, but a little bit more than perhaps was necessary. But keep that in mind. Don't overuse it, or you'll find that on your flat panels, they're going to have a bit more dusting if you overuse it. That's about it though. It's a very, very easy product to use. It doesn't smell of anything, which is fine. And I like it, and it's readily available. You know, you can find this practically everywhere. So yeah, I'll give that one definitely a thumbs up. Thank you very much to Glym for sending this to me, and also for pointing out where the mistake was made in the last video, and I hope everything is correct now. If not, I might have to make this video again. In the meantime, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you will be notified of my next videos. Follow me on Instagram, somewhere down here. It's my new favorite thing. Reach out to me, give me a shout. Any comments, questions, suggestions in the box below or on Instagram. I look forward to hearing from you guys. That's it. I'm going to finish this door now so we don't have a line down the middle of it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.